Okay, first thing I wanted to do is just have a quick talk about inspiration and some of the historical inspiration, people that have made ambient music in the past, and some of the things I've been looking at recently. So let's dive straight into that. Okay, so there's quite a few obvious artists that have created ambient music over the years, and the tag ambient itself can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. But if you take a look at artists like Philip Glass or Kraftwerk or Tangerine Dream, they're all traditional electronic based, not so much Philip Glass, but electronic based ambient musicians. And then a little bit later on you had acts like Enigma coming along, partially cheesy, but they did more drum driven ambient tones. But some of the things I've been listening to recently, and some of the things that maybe it might be a good idea for you to take a look at, is, I just want to have a look on the computer here. I've just picked 3 YouTube channels. The reason I've chosen YouTube is that seems to be the source of a lot of inspiration for people these days. Now this channel in particular, Space Wave Cosmic Relaxation, quite a mouthful. But this guy's been going for a while now, and he's built up quite a good following, and he does what I would call more the drone side of things, where it's just a constant kind of tone. But he does mix in other elements too, other not so much melodic, but you hear lots of sound effects, lots of things going on in the background. And he says himself he's inspired by the Blade Runner original soundtrack. So something to consider. I mean, I know a lot of you guys thinking, well, how can I earn money out of music? But there's quite a few channels like his now. And what they do is, obviously I can't play any of it because it's all copyrighted. But he creates visual backgrounds, moving visual backgrounds, partially animated. And he's actually got a couple of videos showing you how he does it. And I think he might use After Effects. I think it's After Effects. But that's not the only software you could use to do this. And the reason I'm mentioning this is, again, you know, we're talking about maybe earning some income from music. So he's creating these really long videos, some of them an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours long, where there's just this really atmospheric background, and he's got this long textural drone music going on. It's not different all the way through. Sometimes it's repeated, but like I said, there are a few channels like this, and some of them, the view count is very, very high. I mean, some of this guys, you can see here, over 1 million views on some of these things. If your YouTube channel is regularly doing that, you're making money, and quite good money as well. The next one I want to look at is State Azure. Some of you probably come across his channel already. Now, I would describe he's not so much ambient, although he does do ambient tracks. He is more of the drum / rhythm driven ambient, you know, evolving that kind of sound going along the background, with some veering towards the drone or the texture side of things as well. And again, he's got some quite high numbers on his channel. Excuse me. But this is just a different kind of what could be termed ambient music. And the reason I'm showing you these 3 channels is because the term ambient itself, it covers so many things. It's like house music. Think about all the different kinds of house music. It's almost endless, the variations you get on it. So I don't want you to think of ambient music as just this single texture, this single preset being held down that never really does anything. And these channels, have a look at them. Before you watch the rest of the video, maybe just have a look at these 3 channels, and you know, there is so much more than this. I've just picked these 3 as they're fairly familiar to me. Then the last one I want you to look at is good old Aussie Music, Owen Ferguson, who does videos for Sonic Academy as well. But I met him on the Trance Addicts Forum just over 10 years ago. I was making trance, he was there too, and this track in particular, Aussie, A Reflective Year, literally blew my mind. When he uploaded this for people to listen to, it was, for me, it was a genuine game changer in terms of my motivation to make certain kinds of music. It is exceptionally good, and obviously, again, I can't play it. He'd probably say yes because he gives a lot of his music away for free, but I'm not going to, just in case. Have a listen to that track in particular. Now, Owen does more of the organic, we'll go into that term later, organic, real instrument, lots of vocals, lots of snippets from films. He used to do as well. He veers over towards the shoegazy side of things as well, and into almost pop territory. He's had some big numbers on some Birdie remixes he did. But yeah, his is definitely more towards the traditional musical instrument side of things, but still fantastic use of samples, which is something we're going to go into later. But this track, A Reflective Year, I mean, when I heard that, I said to Owen, how the hell do you come up with this kind of inspiration? And what he said to me, it stuck with me. I mean, I was in my 30s then. Yeah, I was still in my 30s then. And Owen, I believe, was quite young then. Maybe late teens, early 20s, but the boy has a gift. And what he said to me is, and I want you to take this on board and remember it throughout this course, and if you try to make ambient music yourself, is he said, when I make music, I think of a view or a vista or a feeling or an emotion, and I try and paint that with audio. And that was it for me. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. Because it's a very effective way of channeling inspiration. So if I'm feeling a certain way, or I see a certain image that makes me feel a certain way, and I want to describe that image with audio, that's what he's telling me to do. Think about it, try and absorb it and describe it with audio. And it doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't have to be melodic even. It can just be a series of textures and samples and sounds and effects. So just a little note on inspiration before we go any further. Like I said, I think it's a good idea if you can go onto these 3 channels, and before you go anywhere further with this course, just have a playthrough of some of the stuff that these guys have done. And throughout the course, I will be referencing some of my own stuff as well. I'm not saying it's as good as these guys. But I will reference some of my own ambient tracks as a source of description and why I've done certain things while we're making the track itself. So yeah, I hope you found this start of this course useful, and we'll see you in the next video.